The pandemic changed a lot of the way that young people interact with like civic engagement, but also the world as a whole. I think kind of what you were saying, Gen Z definitely interacts in a different way with politics and with the like, civic engagement sphere, but I don't think that they interact any less.
Always rather see people engaged than not engaged. Yeah. So even if their engagement looks different, I'm still happy they're participating.
Yeah. I'm your host, Vicky Diaz Camacho. This space brings together voices across generations to engage in honest conversations about democracy, identity, and the future we are building together. Let's dive in. This is the Civic Generation with
Chelsea Beaupre
and Ruthu Josyula.
Perfect. I'm start the timer. Let's go. So we'd like to get to know you and what informs what it is that you do. So can you give me a Cliff Notes version of your bios, please? Whoever wants to start.
I'm a lobbyist turned government accountability attorney. I got interested in politics via the West Wing and started volunteering on a campaign in middle school, and the rest is history.
Amazing. Thank you.
I have a bit of a long story to get to where I was, but I'll shorten it. My junior year, I suddenly pivoted towards policy and politics, and then I was a teacher during my gap year, and now I work for Bridge USA. It's a nonprofit organization that works in civic dialogue.
Amazing. Okay, so you understand what this is about. Okay, great. So let's try to focus on what sparked your interest. If there was an aha moment, can you think of who or what maybe sparked that interest? You mentioned middle school, so I'm curious if you want to start there.
Yeah, it was literally watching The West Wing.
Are you serious?
I grew up in this area, so national news always felt like my local news.
Yeah.
And watching these smart people who care about the world make an impact and really struggle with the best ways to do that. I mean, obviously it's a TV show, but you know, I was 11 and then it was the Clinton-Gore campaign and I said, I want to do that. And I've been involved my whole life.
Wow. It's amazing.
Mine was actually a conversation I had with a friend in college. Still my very, very close friend. We had completely different political views, and we stayed up all night talking about our different political views. And I was like, well, if we can still be friends by the morning, then clearly there's a purpose in civic dialogue. And so that's why I'm here.
Amazing. Well, this is a perfect segue into the next question because I'm going to challenge you both to think of 3 words or feelings when I say civic engagement. What comes up for you?
I think right now, scary is the first word that comes to mind.
Why?
I think there's a lot of disconnect and a lot of big feelings and big beliefs. And so I'm nervous about where things are headed as far as conversation goes.
Yeah.
I think effort. I think kind of going off that, it takes so much effort to be civically involved and engaged. Yeah. And I think for a lot of people, it's very difficult to put in that effort right now. So I think that's fair. That's a big word for it.
All right. And I asked for 3 words, so I'm going to keep going back and forth.
Second word I'm going to say is local.
Okay.
I know in response to kind of recent events and the last election, a lot of people in my community started looking towards how to get involved at a smaller scale as opposed to a national scale. And so people are paying attention to their community races or not even to strictly politics, but where can I volunteer? Where can I be involved in mutual aid? Who in my community needs my help? How can I get to know my neighbors? And that has been, to kind of counteract the word scary, a really positive thing to see.
Nice.
I think maybe openness. I think a lot of civic engagement right now requires realizing that the people that you thought were exactly like you aren't exactly like you. And there's a lot of openness that's required to like go and talk to them and have these conversations that are very difficult right now.
Really good. Thanks.
Okay.
The final one.
That gave me my 3rd word, which is going to be offline, which is maybe moving some of these conversations from these super hyper algorithmic spaces that we live in online to a real reality-based, community-based world offline and getting to know folks.
That one gave me my last word. I think it's community.
Hey.
I think the core of civic engagement is the community that you surround yourself in and the community that is the larger country and the larger world. I think that's the effort that we put into the community kind of reflects back on our civic engagement.
Wow. Thank you. I'm glad that you all got inspired by one another. It just worked out. And I think there's often this perception that younger generations might not be as inclined to show up in the ways that other generations have, and then that older generations tend to be stuck in their ways or not willing to show up in different ways. What are your experiences or perceptions on that, or any clarifying remarks that you would want to make on those perceptions?
I mean, I'm really excited about Gen Z. I think they're pretty civically engaged.
Yeah.
I mean, traditionally, young people don't vote. That's the kind of classic example. But
Yeah.
I'm excited to see, I think every generation kind of brings a different sense of community. And I think the conversation about aging leadership and making space
Yeah.
for younger people is really important. And I'm really excited to see where that heads.
Nice.
I hate to be the person that says it,
Yeah.
but I think the pandemic changed a lot of the way that young people interact with like civic engagement, but also the world as a whole. I think kind of what you were saying, Gen Z definitely interacts in a different way
Yeah.
with politics and with the like, civic engagement sphere, but I don't think that they interact any less. I think it's just in a different way than we've seen because of the pandemic and how online everything has become.
Okay, nice. Thank you both.
Always rather see people engaged than not engaged.
Yeah.
So even
Okay.
if their engagement looks different, I'm still happy they're participating.
Yeah, because everything evolves at some point,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, the final question as we wrap up this conversation, which I know we could go on and on, but do you think there's something missing from civic engagement, this conversation, and what takeaway do you want folks to walk away with?
Well, I can start. I think the thing that's missing is, well, not missing, is the gap that Bridge USA fills, the organization I work for. It's really difficult to have uncomfortable conversations with people right now. And I think that's where Bridge USA kind of comes in and helps out, because we have college chapters across the nation and we're actively working with different college-age young students to talk to each other and actually try to solve problems instead of just sticking to your own bubble and letting the
Yeah.
people in your bubble only talk to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I will say, I think what's missing is stories, is a more complex, nuanced explanation of kind of people's policy goals, people's values, what people think of as civic engagement, that it isn't black and white and it's complicated. So it's that nuance, but it's also understanding other people's stories and backgrounds and the impacts that all of these things have on their lives.
Heavy on the stories.
Like it. I like the ping ponging. Well, thank you both so much for this conversation. Really appreciate both.
Thank you.
Yeah.